invite you to join me in a word of prayer. Eternal God, in this sacred moment of pause, ground us, root us, recall for us the rich history in which we stand. Before these grand columns of Wallace Hall, let us remember those who stood here before us. Let us recall the hopes and dreams of 159 graduating classes whose footsteps echoed through these halls, whose minds were expanded in these classrooms, whose futures were built and launched from these steps. Help us to remember our past, Holy God, so we can appropriately celebrate and acknowledge the joy that is our present and our future. And bless us, Holy God, in this glad occasion with a reverent sense of your presence. As we acknowledge the graduates of today, honor their hard work, and celebrate their achievement. Finally, O God, who is Alpha and Omega, who is beginning and end, mark this moment with a depth of meaning worthy of our rich and fruitful heritage, and bless this ceremony that it may be a memorable sending worthy of the journey itself. Amen.
Please be seated. Thanks to everyone for joining us on this glorious day. Thank you, Reverend Ott, for your invocation, and thanks too to the Monmouth Chorale for the beautiful rendition of our alma mater. And good afternoon to all of you on this great day of celebration. We are delighted that you can be with us as we participate in the 159th commencement exercises of Monmouth College. I would like to introduce our special platform guests. On my far left is the Reverend Dr. Terry McDowell Ott, the college chaplain. To her right is Mr. Drake Decker, the Lincoln Laureate of the class of 2016. Then on my immediate left is Dean David Timmerman, the Dean of the Faculty, and next to him is our honored guest and commencement speaker, Mr. John Meacham. And then to his right, Ms. Christy Hippen, Registrar of the College. I now want to recognize the members of our College Board of Trustees who are in attendance today. These dedicated men and women, many of them alumni of the college, provide critical leadership to this institution. I hope that some of you, today's graduates, have service as a trustee of Monmouth College among your ambitions. Will the members of the Board of Trustees with us today please stand and be recognized? Thank you. I also extend a warm greeting to Monmouth College's faculty and staff. At Monmouth, no matter what our other titles may be, we are all educators, dedicated to the guided growth of young people. Through their dedication and passion, these people have helped our students to free the possibilities inherent in them. Would all of you please stand and be recognized? I want to recognize two members of our staff in particular. Many people contribute to this wonderful day, but in terms of the organization of it, I want to ask both our registrar, Ms. Christy Hippen, and Karen Ogerzalik, who directs special events for the colleges. Christy, I know, is here. Karen is probably somewhere making sure something happens the way that it's supposed to, but let's please thank both of them. I also want to thank and recognize my wife, Lobie Stone, for her work on behalf of the college, and especially for freeing whatever possibilities may reside in me. Lobie, would you please stand? Next, a special welcome to the very important people for whom today represents the culmination of 4 years of dedication, study, and hard work, and the beginning of the new exciting chapters in their sagas. Members of the class of 2016, please stand and be recognized for the first time today. Okay, you can sit down now. Okay, there you go. That was probably tough for some of you to be able to make that up and down. And of course, all of you, today's graduates, know that you did not come to this moment by yourselves. So finally, let me extend on behalf of the college a warm welcome to the mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, sisters, brothers, sons, daughters, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and friends of the class of 2016, who are here today to celebrate this special event with them and us. We welcome all of you, and we thank you for being here to celebrate the achievements of the class of 2016. Would you please stand as we join with the graduates in a warm round of applause? I have the honor, as we usually do at commencement, of announcing this year's faculty promotions, which were approved by the Monmouth College Board of Trustees at its meeting a few weeks ago. And as I call these names, would these members of the faculty please stand and accept our thanks and congratulations. Dan Ott in the Department of Philosophy and Religious Studies is granted a tenured position and is promoted from assistant professor to associate professor. Amy DeFarius in the Department of History is promoted from associate professor to full professor. Amy, please stand. Laura Moore in the Department of Chemistry is also promoted from associate to full professor. Ian Motion Ross in the Department of Music is promoted from associate to full professor. Ian may not be with us. And finally today we recognize Professor of Sociology Stephen Boobin, who is retiring after 39 years of dedicated and extraordinary service to the college. During that time, and still, Steve has embodied the best of Monmouth College. I ask that Steve and his wife Nancy, if she is present, to please stand and accept our thanks and appreciation. As your program indicates, there will be two commencement addresses this afternoon. And the first one will be presented by our student laureate from the Lincoln Academy of Illinois, Mr. Drake Decker. Unique among the 50 states, the Academy was established to honor Illinois' most distinguished citizens with the state's highest award, the Order of Lincoln. Each year, an outstanding senior who exhibits overall excellence in curricular and extracurricular programs is selected from each of the 4-year degree-granting institutions of higher learning in Illinois. Drake Decker has indeed exhibited such excellence. I now invite Mr. Decker to deliver his commencement address. Drake.
President Wyatt, deans, members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished faculty, friends and family, and fellow members of the class of 2016. Today, we celebrate and remember our time at Monmouth College. I've had a lot of people say things to me like, "Didn't it just fly by?" or "Where did the time go?" I'm sure most of us can relate to these statements. We can remember our first day here like it was yesterday. Today, however, is about reflecting on our Monmouth College experience. So I want to talk about a few things that have happened over the past 4 years to hopefully help us see that our 4 years at Monmouth were more than just a short blip in time. First, I would like to talk about what we've learned. Of course, the tremendous faculty here have helped us grow intellectually and academically, but we've learned more than that. We've learned how to hike through snowbanks in negative 30-degree wind chill temperatures, how to stay up all night finishing a paper or studying for a midterm exam, how to peacefully coexist with the campus squirrels, and how good a Pepperoni's pizza can taste at 2 a.m., or Alfano's for those people. We've also made an abundance of memories during our time in college. Here are a few things that we will remember from the past 4 years that might help put in perspective how long we've actually been here. Making Harlem Shake videos. Thank goodness that was a long time ago. Ice bucket challenges, and the white and gold dress that nearly broke the internet. We will always remember the great Monmouth traditions, like the freshman walkout, bagpipes waking us up on Scholars Day, and midnight breakfast in the CAF before finals. We will remember the lifelong friendships we've made here, the conversation with faculty that have influenced us, late nights, and adventures with friends. It hasn't been all smooth sailing the past 4 years, and there have been many challenges to overcome. Think about persevering through the long journey on the way back from the Bijou. Your TOEFL shot ending up behind a campus building, making it to an 8 a.m. class on a Thursday morning, making it through that 8 a.m. class without dozing off, and conquering the steps to reach the 3rd floor of Wallace Hall. Lastly, I want to remind us of some of the many things we've celebrated the past 4 years. Athletic accomplishments with teammates, getting the grade you worked so hard for on an assignment or in a class, and earning a leadership position within an organization. As you think back on these accomplishments, whatever they may be, I encourage you to think about the people who made them possible. Thank you, faculty, for your dedication and passion for what you do, for the extra hours you spend going over material, and the insightful guidance you provide. Thank you to the rest of the Monmouth family, from admissions to administration, coaches, the Wackerly Center, staff workers in dorms and the Student Center. You provide an incredible environment that has allowed us to succeed and make it to this point. I would like to say thank you to our parents for everything, for all you have given, your time, money, advice, solicited or otherwise, and most of all, thank you for your love and your belief in us. To bring all of these together, I hope we can reflect on the amount of personal growth and changes that have happened over the past 4 years. Looking back, this might end up being the most influential 4 years of our lives. And while it may seem like just yesterday that we were here in front of Wallace Hall for matriculation, a great deal has occurred since then to shape who we are today. We have a lot of great experiences as graduates of this institution, and we have every reason to be confident in our abilities with our future endeavors. I challenge our class to continue to strive for growth, to be lifelong learners, to work hard, and to challenge ourselves to achieve lofty goals and make an impact on those around us. Thank you.
Thank you, Drake. I now invite Mr. John Meacham to please come forward and stand to my left. President Wyatt, it is my distinct privilege and high honor to present John Ellis Meacham for the honorary degree Doctor of Humane Letters. Mr. Meacham has distinguished himself both as a student of our nation's history and as a thoughtful and measured commentator on the present day. A noted scholar and writer on the U.S. presidency, Mr. Meacham won the 2009 Pulitzer Prize for biography for American Lion, Andrew Jackson in the White House. He has also written acclaimed studies of Thomas Jefferson and most recently, President George H.W. Bush, who spoke at Monmouth's commencement exercises in the year 2000. Mr. Meacham has also written a study of the friendship and strategic partnership of Franklin Roosevelt and Winston Churchill. Mr. Meacham brings the perspective of an historian to his work as a commentator on current affairs. Mr. Meacham began his career as one of America's most respected journalists at his hometown paper, the Chattanooga Times. He later served as editor of the Washington Monthly. For 12 years, Mr. Meacham served as managing editor, then editor of Newsweek, responsible for all day-to-day editorial operations of the magazine. Mr. Meacham is now a contributing editor at Time and the executive vice president and executive editor at Random House. a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, and of the Executive Board of the Society of American Historians. Mr. Meacham is a regular guest on such public affairs programs as Charlie Rose, Meet the Press, and Morning Joe. Mr. Meacham is a proud graduate of another outstanding liberal arts institution, the University of the South, where he was the salutatorian and a member of Phi Beta Kappa. He also serves as a member of his alma mater's Board of Trustees and as a distinguished visiting professor at Vanderbilt University. For his dedication to the intellectual history and rigor, for his belief in the power of learning to light our path to a more humane future, and for his commitment to excellence, I present John Ellis Meacham for the honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters.
John Ellis Meacham, whereas you have demonstrated in all aspects of your life a profound belief in ideas honestly considered, gracefully expressed, and boldly brought to life. And whereas your studies of leadership, both past and present, remind us that it is ideas so considered, so expressed, and so enlivened that have empowered all human progress. And whereas your own commitment to intellectual honesty and rigor provide an example for all of us, but most especially for those who would lead conversations about current affairs. And whereas your thoughtfulness, in all senses of that word, and humanity are all too rare reminders of what is best about us in an environment in which ideas are shunned, words are devalued and profaned, and action is too often focused on the selfish and transient, not on the common good and the timeless. And whereas your life and work exemplify the highest values and greatest potential of the liberating power of the liberal arts and sciences, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Monmouth College, with charter trustees and trustees assembled, that John Ellis Meacham is awarded the honorary degree Doctor of Humane Letters, with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. I am honored to present you with this diploma, and I ask that you be invested with the appropriate hood. Congratulations, John.
It's all downhill from here. Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Dean, trustees, faculty, and most importantly, members of the class of 2016. I got to graduate first, but I think that's only fitting. I'm old, so there's less time to do things. Thank you for those very warm words. I must admit, whenever, on the occasions when I hear warm things said about me, every once in a while when I think, well, yes, they've got a good point. My mind goes back to a moment about 8 years ago on the Washington Mall at the National Book Festival. And I was on my way to give my talk at that point on Andrew Jackson. And a woman ran up to me, which doesn't happen enough as a basic rule, and said, "Oh my God, it's you." And I said, "Well, yes, you know." As your philosophy professors will tell you, existentially speaking, that is true. She said, "Will you wait right here? I want you to sign your new book." And I said, "Absolutely." Hand to God, she brought back John Grisham's latest novel. So, whenever I think I have the world right where I want it, I remember that somewhere in America there is a woman with a forged copy of The Runaway Jury. So, I am grateful for your hospitality. It's a true story. Given your Presbyterian origins, this generous invitation is characteristic of your ecumenical grace. I am one of the last 8 Episcopalians in America. I'm an enormous admirer of the intimate liberal arts experience. As you heard from the dean, I went to Sewanee, the University of the South. There may be 1 or 2 of you who are not familiar with the University of the South. It is best understood as a combination of Downton Abbey and Deliverance. And I know well that I am the only thing standing between you all and the rest of your lives, so I will be brief. You are headed off to lives of great consequence, in a time of great consequence for America and for the world. You will encounter an infinity of joys and, yes, of sorrows, but God willing, more of the former than of the latter. But one thing is certain. You will carry what you have learned here through all the length of days. Now, I'm a historian. I'm someone who tries to take the disparate elements of the past, what William James called the blooming, buzzing confusion of reality, in order to make something new and one hopes resonant. And I believe deeply that, as my fellow Southerner William Faulkner once said, the past is never dead, it isn't even past. History and tradition are not infallible, but we have nowhere else to begin our common deliberations about what we should do, except for with the fact of what we have done. Remembrance, history, lies at the heart of our common public enterprise. The song of the aged Moses may have said it best. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. My counsel to you is to make history your ally and not your enemy. The great historian Arthur Schlesinger Jr., who died the way we should all die, on his second martini in a steakhouse, once remarked that history is to a nation as memory is to a person. And while memories are sometimes painful, sometimes debilitating, experience proves that the past is a stubborn thing and as inevitable as the weather. Our task, our common task, is to make the best use of that which has gone before as we go forward together. To know how to think about seemingly disparate elements and distant events in relation to one's own time and one's own complications is, I believe, to be armed against despair. For if the men and women of the past, with all their flaws and limitations and ambitions and appetites, could press on through ignorance and superstition, racism and sexism, selfishness and greed, to form a more perfect union, then perhaps we too can right wrongs and leave the world a better place than we found it. And the world has already turned over many times since you have been in it. Most of you were born in the middle of the 1990s. That is a gulp for the rest of us. I have shoes older than most of you. It was the second year or so of the first term of Bill Clinton. In those days, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was about 3,800. A gallon of gas cost $1.09. New television shows included Barney the Dinosaur, Friends, Ellen, My So-Called Life, and Extra. An episode of The Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous in the year you were born featured a profile of a certain New York developer named, well, you can guess that one. And this was the year that gave us the movies Pulp Fiction, The Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump, Police Academy, Mission to Moscow, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation. In a year that gave us Forrest Gump, another Police Academy crisis, and all of you, was a pretty good year. You were just about to begin elementary school when terror struck us out of a brilliant blue sky on that morning of Tuesday, September 11th, 2001. For well over half your lifetimes, a remarkable thing to contemplate, for well over half of your lifetimes, the United States of America has been at war, something that can be said only of the very first generation of Americans, those born during the Revolution in the latter part of the 18th century. And you were just about to begin to drive when the first African American in history was elected president of the United States. So you know what history feels like. You've already lived through a fair chunk of it. And you know, at least implicitly, that one thing we know for certain is that the world will turn over again and again, even to the end of the age. If we're being honest with ourselves, we live in a time of division and self-absorption. We stare at screens, we filter the news to meet our ideological predispositions, we offer reflexive opinions without a great deal of thought and with increasing fervor. Many of us are never in doubt, though often wrong. And yet our common welfare depends not on what separates us, but on what unifies us. St. Augustine once defined a nation as a multitude of rational beings united by the common objects of our love. United by the common objects of our love. So 16 years now into the 21st century, 240 years after the founding of the country in a Philadelphia summer, what do we love in common? The painful but unavoidable answer is not enough. And yet we must find a way forward, and we will do so, in my view, by consultation with the past. History has the capacity to bring us together, for the story of the American journey is ultimately the story of obstacles overcome, crises resolved, and freedom expanded. We have always grown in strength the wider we have opened our arms, and the more we have opened our hearts. From Lexington and Concord to Lewis and Clark, from Fort Sumter to D-Day, from suffrage to Selma, we have sought to perfect a still imperfect union. What can we in our time learn from the past? That the perfect should not be the enemy of the good, that compromise is the oxygen of democracy, and that we learn the most from those who came before, not by looking up at them adoringly and uncritically, or down on them condescendingly, but looking them in the eye, taking them for what they were, and giving them credit for what they did. This brings us to the moral utility of history. It is very tempting to feel superior to the past. But as Professor Schlesinger once said, self-righteousness in retrospect is easy, also cheap. And so when we begin to condemn posterity for slavery, or for Native American removal, or for denying women their full role in the life of the nation, let us also pause and think, what injustices are we perpetuating even now that will one day face the harshest of verdicts by those who come after us? You are leaving Monmouth as citizens of the most powerful nation in the history of the world. For 71 summers, since August of 1945, America has been greater than Rome ever was, and greater than Britain. But Earth's proud empires rise and fall, such is the nature of the things of this world. The nation you are entering requires innovation and energy and creativity. And because of this place, because of what you have learned here, because of the friendships you have made, the professors you have had, the families from which you come, you are uniquely prepared to take up the responsibilities that await. Curiosity will sustain you. You've already begun to engage what Matthew Arnold called the best that has been thought and said in the world. From mathematics to Mozart, from political history to the basics of physics, from Mandarin to Toni Morrison, from really anything to anything else. Liberal education, the kind you've experienced here, offers us a way of knowing and thinking. And the affairs of the world of the early 21st century are global in nature. Borders have not mattered so little than the first moment gazelles loped across the savannah. As Americans, we face fundamental economic, political, and moral challenges. We must remain innovative and competitive, for experience tells us that broad shared prosperity is crucial to the maintenance of democracy. Politically, we are in the midst of a great partisan struggle, in which a professional political class of activists on the internet and on cable television appear to have more invested in the perpetuation of conflict than in the resolution of problems. And in this very season, we face an extraordinary electoral moment in which an avowed outsider has successfully taken over the machinery of the venerable party of Lincoln, T.R., Eisenhower, Reagan, and George H.W. Bush. And we do not know what will happen once autumn comes. In an even larger sense, morally, we face the great question of whether the great achievement of the last century, the building, often at public expense, of a sturdy middle class that has benefited from both private enterprise and government investment, is to be sustained or discarded. At its best, Monmouth has armed you for what Oliver Wendell Holmes called the passion and action of his times. Your weapons are the elements that form this school's sure foundation: grace and strength and love. It is grace that will enable you to appreciate and be grateful for good fortune as you pursue, with varying degrees of success, life's glittering prizes. It is strength that will make arms strong amid adversity, giving you the will and the means to endure. And it is love that gives shape and meaning to everything in hours of triumph and of trial, of success and of failure. And so be curious, be gracious, be hopeful. Love your neighbor. Take naps outside on summer afternoons. Read Jane Austen and Anthony Trollope in as many detective stories as you can find. Go to the movies. Vote in each and every election, no matter what. Never be embarrassed to put your hand over your heart when they play the Star-Spangled Banner. And this one's important. Write thank you notes on real paper. It'll make a huge difference. The dead tree kind. You've heard of it, I think. Try to look up from those screens, whether on your phone or on your wrist. Technology contains multitudes, yes, but virtual reality is just that, virtual. And above all, remember in hours of joy and of darkness that a life well lived is judged not by the bottom line, but by the big picture. If you remember this, you will make history. And the rest of us can't wait to see with what you all do with your own hour upon the stage. It'll be fantastic. And the stories you're about to write in your lives and in the life of the nation and of the world will be stories not of fear but of hope, not of despair but of joy, not of cynicism but of caritas. And there is, in the end, no more important story than that. So go to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Meacham. For 159 years, Monmouth College has followed the tradition of using Latin to confer the baccalaureate degree. We invite you to follow the English translation printed in the commencement program as we begin the presentation and conferral of degrees for the Monmouth College class of 2016. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts please rise? Tibi praesidii collegii Monmouthiensis hos juvenes ud ad gradum artium baccalaureae admittantur offero.
In nomine Dei, Amen. Auctoritate nobis, a Republica Illinoisensi, commissa et consuetudine vedere nos professores collegii Monmouthiensis, vos ad gratem artium baccalaureae admittimus.
This is the 2016 graduating class of Monmouth College. Congratulations. Graduates, you may move your tassels from the right to the left. You may be seated. As we send this class of graduates out into the world, we also rejoice that the world is increasingly coming to us. This year, we saw one of the largest influxes of international students that Monmouth College has welcomed in many years. And we are pleased that exchange students from 4 countries were also able to join us and to join us today. I would like to ask the following students to please stand and be recognized. From Costa Rica, Brenda Carpio Aguilar. From Argentina, Maria Victoria Martin. From Scotland, Matthew Davidson. And from Ireland, Margaret Savage. At this time, we invite the graduates to come forward as their names are called to be awarded their diplomas. I ask the audience to hold their applause until all students have received their degrees. Bryce Allen Adams. Corrine M. Allen. Muhammad Rami Al-Sharif. Megan Rose Altfilish. Diana Alvarez. William Armanda. Khalid Arnaud. Dustin Clay Atwood, cum laude. Alexis Ashley Aurelio. Celestina O. Awopilade, cum laude. Leon Bagdarsarian. Gabriel James Baginski. Tyler Eugene Bailey. Donald Banks, Jr. Erin Lynn Barnett. Adric C. Barreto. Tyler Robert Baxter. Evan Michael Bean.
Way to go, Tyler.
Tyler Stephen Bean. Jacob Stewart Beck. Amber Linda Burge, cum laude. Matthew Paul Bursell, summa cum laude. Rachel J. Bingham. Thea Elizabeth Bloom. William Charles Boss. Madison N. Brakel. Tyler James Brenizen. Ryan P. Brennan. Raheem Brown. Timothy Yates Brown. Donovan Brown Staten. Amanda Michelle Buck. Alec Buckert. Benjamin David Berger. Evan James Burke. Megan Kathleen Byrne, summa cum laude. John J. Calhoun. Anthony Campiona. LaShawn Cargo Jr. Wesley Allen Carlock. Jordan Bryson Carter. Caitlin Rebecca Carter. Catherine Carter. Ruby Karina Castañeda. Pretes Chalise. Kayla Ann Cherry. Andrea Renee Churchill, cum laude. Caitlin Renee Cleaver. Maisha Jorday Coley. Holly Jean Courtois. Johnny E. Cox, Jr. Corey Crawford. Patrick Boyd Crawford. Danielle Morgan Cummings, cum laude. Rebecca DeLayden. Maxwell Daniels, cum laude. Emily Darling. Caitlin Ann Davis. Kirsten I. Davison. Allison D'Arville. Drake Alexander Decker, summa cum laude. Nicholas J. DeVore. Cassandra Jean Dietrich. Kristen Nicole Dillon, cum laude. Christopher James Dilworth. Adam C. Duffield, cum laude. Kate Eileen Duffy. Alexandra L. DuPont, summa cum laude. David Eugene Edge III. Desi Anahi Emeterio Flores, magna cum laude. Michael Evan Ernst. Brendan Fallon. Derek M. Finley. Jordan Fisher. John Fitzgerald. Emily Ann Flint, summa cum laude. Casto Flores Dominguez. Katie Lynn Fleur. James Patrick Flynn. Connor Barry Frakes. Marco Alex Franco. Benjamin S. Friday. Shatara Shanice Funches. Chris Dwayne Galloway. And Andrea Elizabeth Gazzo. Matthew E. Geithner. Jenna Lynn Gallardi. Lucas Stephen Getz. Tanner Dwayne Gillis. Selena Gonzalez. Mary Gonzalez. Reed Joseph Goodbread. Juliana C. Graff, magna cum laude. Sarah Christine Groves. Denise C. Guyan. Haley E. Gustafson. Daniel Guzman. Amira Simone Emily Hall. Belinda K. Hall, magna cum laude. Alicia M. Handel.
Yeah! Woo-hoo!
Kyle Christian Lee Haptonstall. Brandon Michael Haruin. Caitlin A. Hart. Brianna H. Hartley. Miguel A. Hernandez. Alexander Hernandez Sotelo. Marion Ruth Yumgren, magna cum laude. Brianna Lynn Hefner.
Smile! Ah, you walk away.
Jordana Marlene Holm. Neil Richard Hosper. Katie Jacqueline Houston, cum laude. Anthony H. Howe, magna cum laude. Taylor Ryan Hufford. Forrest Whitfield Innes. Patrick George Innes. Nathaniel Anthony and Sarah Moosin. Cole Scott Jackson. Adam C. Johnson. Brian Alfred Johnson, cum laude. Elizabeth A. Johnson. Dorian Chanel Jones. Matthew J. Jahola. Benjamin Paul Ketchum. Christopher J. Knutson, cum laude. Caitlin K. Kozaliski, cum laude. Kelly Nicole Kruger. Kayla Marie Lambie. Rachel Nicole Landry. Ross Philip Langloy. Caitlin J. Lawrence. Corey William Lavoy. Kenneth M. Lee. Dylan James Lear, magna cum laude. Jade Jasmine Luthi, magna cum laude. Anton Mahama. Nicholas D. Marema. Jade Elizabeth Merriman. Benjamin R. Markison. Taylor M. Martin. Yaneli J. Martinez. Andrew Matheson. Anthony Louis Matozzi. Dejanae Monique Matthews. Kaylin Jade McKean, magna cum laude. Lindsay Danielle Mellon. Quincy Michelle Merritt. Nathan Misik, summa cum laude. Kayla Faye Millum Kaysen. Dylan Jean Miller. Haley Nicole Miller, summa cum laude. Kyle Robert Milroy. Shauna Brooke Mitchell. Dushawn Moore Jr. Anthony Curtis Morrison. Stephen Murphy. Nicole L. Musselman. Daniel V. Mazzalupo. Daphne M. Nelson. Nicodem Gampa. Heidi Nicole Neiman.
I'm so sorry.
Mackenzie Notestein. Cassidy L. O'Connell. Stephen Oakes. Miranda Renea Olander, magna cum laude. Amy Lee Olson, cum laude. Emily Ann Olson. Tyler James Osborne. Charlotte Elizabeth Park. Adam Michael Parr. Ahmed Mohammed Pauza. Araceli Perez. Carson M. Pereiro. Parker Ray Pereiro. Reagan Pinkerton, cum laude. Zachary Marcus Ronald Platt. Anthony Pajoli. Christy Jillian Reagan, cum laude. Jihad Ramadan. Fernando Ramirez. Torianne Corquisa Rather. Catherine Ann Rees, cum laude. Nathan Edward Ryer. Tatiana Rivera. Bailey Jean Elizabeth Roberts. Maria Y. Romero, cum laude. Sydney Lee Rose. Paige Lynn Russ, magna cum laude. David Eric Rude, magna cum laude. Victoria Salyards, magna cum laude. Ryan Sampson. Mercedes Noemi Sandoval. Courtney Sargent. Anna Schnery, magna cum laude. Jonna Allen Schultz. Andrew D. Sellip, cum laude. Donish B. Shaw. Tiffany Lynn Shaw. Alex Ryan Shepard. Brittany Ann Shoemaker. Emily Marie Siefken. Jair Malik Sims. Jocelyn Rachel Spagnola. Donald J. Sparks. Sarah May Stalter, cum laude. Sam Michael Stone. Natalie Palmer Stortoni. Danielle M. Stuckey. Joshua T. Sutherland, cum laude. Taylor Ann Suchek, cum laude. Zoe Rebecca Elizabeth Sutton. Taylor A. Tado. Cole Ray Tachi. Connor Temple. Jeremy Thompson. David M. Toole. Yahaira Guadalupe Torres. Lauren V. Towler. Matthew L. Traynor. Fa Tren, cum laude. Elena Marie Tratine, summa cum laude. Ong Ye Tong. Priscilla Tun. Jill Kathleen Turley. Ezamar Valentine. Ksenia Valasayeva, summa cum laude. Victoria Ann Volante. Austin W. Wallerstead. Joseph V. Ward. Tony Arlena Ward. Joshua N. Washington. Emily Lynn Watkins, cum laude.
That's fine. But there go Emily.
Brody William Welker.
Go Ems! Yes, dang.
John P. Wells.
She graduated. Summa cum laude. She graduated with honors in both.
Catherine Lynn White. Tanner Joseph Wilhelm. Brittany Alexis Willett. Bryce Thomas Willett.
There go James.
James R. Wilson.
No, James.
Tyler R. Wilson, cum laude.
You better hurry up on down there.
Kylie Winecki, cum laude. John William Winkler. Haley Joe Wallerman, cum laude. Corey R. Yost. I'll ask the class of Monmouth College class of 2016 to stand again so we can recognize you. I now welcome Anthony Howe of the class of 2016 to offer a farewell to the college on behalf of the graduating seniors.
Friends, classmates, faculty, staff, trustees, good afternoon. I had a lot of trouble writing this speech because I thought that I was supposed to be writing something at least halfway inspirational. But commencement addresses at their heart are tasked with inspiring at a time that really needs no inspiration. Each and every one of us is at a pivotal point in our lives when the entire world is opening up before us. Thus, by the very nature of this speech, the only thing that I'm accomplishing is a 2 to 4 minute delay in getting the heck out of here, and for that, I apologize. For many of us, today means leaving friends and teachers who have been invaluable in navigating our way through these last 4 formative years. I've learned as much about myself as I have the world around me from these people, and I have benefited substantially from perspectives that are not my own. I have been blessed to make friends with people from around the world, and I have acquired a new appreciation for just how easy my life has been. It is so important to remember that we could not have arrived at this moment without the help of many others. It indeed takes a village to raise a college student, and we could not have done this alone. Most notably for me are my parents, my twin pillars without whom I could not stand. They never gave me any idea that I could not do whatever I wanted to do or be who I wanted to be. I remember when I was in 6th grade, my mom would drive me to St. Paul, Minnesota, about an hour away from our house, to my weekly Tuesday bagpipe lesson with the Brian Brew Irish Pipe Band. Every week she did this until I got my driver's license and I could do it on my own. And as many of you know, I came to Monmouth College on a bagpiping scholarship, a direct result of the sacrifices that were made on my behalf. And I'm sure we all have similar stories. I've learned many things since I left my Somerset, Wisconsin home in August of 2012 to further my education here at Monmouth College. But the most important thing that I've learned is that you will be great at the things you can't not do. Our obsessions, the things we think about when we're distracted, our callings, are why we're here today. We've all discerned what these things are and are entering a world where these obsessions just might be lucrative. For many of us, Monmouth has opened the door for us to capitalize on these things we can't not do. For some, it's art. For others, it's accounting. And for me, it was playing the bagpipes. I did what I was obsessed with, and it's the reason I'm standing in front of you today. But we must stay obsessed with these things because, as we've learned in our INTG courses, we can fail at things we don't want to do. Sometimes, taking a safe job out of fear disguised as practicality is not the best path forward. So if failure can happen when we're playing it safe, we might as well take a chance on something that indulges our obsessions. Real, unassailable truth about what's beyond the lawn here at Wallace is unknown, but Monmouth College has given us the opportunity and armed us with the knowledge, tenacity, and persistence to tread a path that is likely to lead us to fulfill our obsessions. So as my farewell to you all and to Monmouth College, I wish that we all have the courage to do the things that make us happiest and to have a positive impact on others, because this is the most valuable thing that we have. Thank you very much.
I'd like to ask the members of the class of 2016 to close your eyes for a moment. As we think back across your time here at Monmouth, think back to your first day on campus. Think about the best of your many best days. Think about that hardest day and how you made it through. Think about those people who will be your friends for life. Think about that person you had to work hardest to like. Think about your toughest defeat. Think about your greatest triumph. Think about those people who had the greatest impact on you. Think about those people whose lives you made just a little bit better. Be sure to come back to campus. Come back often. For no matter where you go, this will always be home. We are all proud of you. We love you. And from Lobe and me, we hope that you will keep the spirit of these days forever. that you will be forever proud Monmouth College Scots, that you will be forever kind, forever curious, forever fearless, that you will be forever young.
Sturdy the band of pioneers who led